देखिए ये मैडम खुला नहीं है।
हाँ कुछ नहीं होता है, कपड़े से रख देंगे।
कौन कपड़ा से?
तुम्हें ब्रश ले।
Hello. Hi guys, am I audible?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, cool. So let's start today's class. Today we will be like going with the strings assignment. Okay. So, oh, no, I guess it's all right. So let me just share my screen once. Just give me a second. So I hope the screen is visible. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with strings assignment. Are there any problems that others sir have already taken? Is there any problem in the string assignment? I guess there are 5 problems for us to discuss. Is there any problem that is already covered? सारी हो गई? All?
Covered, sir.
Okay, so it's all covered. So is there anyone who is like facing any doubts in any of them?
So shuffle string.
Okay, so shuffle string is one that is bothering you guys. Okay, so but still you can take because functions are easy. Okay, functions are easy. So मेरे को तो string करानी है. So let's why don't we do one thing, right? Let's take your doubts in these 5 problems, right? We can do that, right? As it's already covered. So time conversion, any doubts in time conversion? Anyone? Yes, no, kuch to likho yaar. All right. Authority. No. Authority में एक doubt है. Okay, so we have authority to discuss. Hey, I guess A is just a simple like pushing two E's, right? So I don't think anyone will have a doubt in it. Shuffle string and P ties. I guess these are the 2 problems that will be bothering, right? Last 2. Okay. So let's take the last 2 problems first. Let's start with the shuffle string, right? Okay. If we take the shuffle string problem and go over the problem description, you can see given a string S and an integer array indices of the same length, right? So we are given 2 things, that is string S and an integer array. Okay, the string S will be shuffled such that the characters at the ith position move to index I. Okay, so the character at ith index in the string needs to move to the position that is specified by the array in the shuffled string. Okay, we need to print the shuffled string. Right, so we need to recreate a string and shift the locations of the characters in the current string, right? So let's quickly create a scanner.
लगाता है क्या ये? लाचा लगता है। तुमको
Guys,
लग जाता
please
है क्या?
keep yourself on mute, right? Okay, scanner sc is equals to new right, new scanner system dot right. Let's take the inputs. Oh, the first line input in the size of the string. Okay, let's take this n. Right. Now the second input, the second line inputs this string. So let's take this string. Right. Let's call it string s. Right. After this, the third input, third line indicates the value of indices. So it's basically the n value, n space separated values for the indexes. Okay. So for that, we need to create an array. Let's call it int ARR, right? It's a new int of size n, right? And then we need to basically see, take these values. So int I is equals to 0, I is less than n, a plus plus, ARR at I is equals to sc dot next int, right? So far we are done with taking in the inputs. Now our task is to basically swap the characters in the given string by what values. See, this is the new location that we need to push those elements at, right? So let's create quickly a character array, right? Let's create a character array of, let's say, char. See, char answer is equals to new character of size n, right? So you can see we are creating a character array, right? Why we are creating a character array? Because by this we can like specifically point to the indexes where we want to put those elements. So now the thing is, for int I is equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, right? So answer which location? The ARR at ith location, right? So we are pointing to the in location which is specified in this array input, right? So please put at that position the character, right? So s dot character at I, right? So we need to put that character in that position, right? Okay, so after this, the swapping will be done and we need to simply do a printer, right? System dot out dot print ln, right? String, we can give answer, right? So let me just check whether it is working. So yes, you can see we got an output as the lead code, right? So yes, it is correct. Let's quickly check for one more. ABC. So we got an output of ABC, right? Let's try and submit it. Let's see if there is any error. So okay, let's go over this problem once again. See, the initial part of that is highlighted now. Line number 20. Okay, see, what I'm doing is first the highlighted part is basically concerned with taking in the inputs, right? Now, After this, the line number 16, I'm creating a character array, right? So you guys know in Java, we have strings as a immutable, like immutable variables, right? Once a string is created, it can't be mutated, right? So I can't just like go in and like change the character at any position. So that's a limitation in string. What we can do is alternately, we can convert that string into character array. Right now character array is similar to normal array, right? Now I can basically pinpoint to the location where I need to place those characters at, right? So this for loop is basically going over these input variables, right? We had a string which was of size n. After that, I had n locations where the current character that is at ith location needs to go. Okay, right? So this is the line number 19 is doing. Please put that character, right? The s dot character at I, the character that is currently at ith location, put it in the location that is specified by array I. Got it? So this is what line number 19 is doing. Now, as an output, we need to print out the string, right? But I was working on the character array. So I just converted the character array to a string, right? So I just passed in the parameter that is a character array to the string constructor, right? You can see whenever we like dynamically declare something, we write a new to basically declare it. Similarly, I'm creating a string out of the character array. That's what line number 22 is doing, right? So it is just simply printing out the final result that is created. Got it? Any doubts in this shuffle string problem now? From 17. Okay. Line 19. Okay. One more time. Okay. So why don't we do one thing? Let's just copy this code and let's have a look at it in the notepad, right? Let's have a look at it in the notepad. Okay. See, let me just also copy the example code, basically one example, right? See, so guys, what is happening? We are given these values, right? The s is, see, we had the variables as s, that is the current string we have, right? So let's say we have c o d e l e e t, right? Now after this, I basically created a array value, right? I created an arr, right? It's an integer array, right? Now this array is telling me these values. The c needs to be placed at fourth index, 5, 6, 7, 0, 2, 1, and 3. Right. So these are the new positions on which these characters are to be mapped. Right. After this, I started to create the answer. How I started to create the answer? I created answer array. Now this is a character array, right? Character array. This was the integer array, right? It's basically same. What I did is I created these n space separated blocks, right? That were initially holding empty values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's also put the index values below it. So this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. See, I guess this is the part where you guys are facing the doubts. I created the character array. This is the initial creation that I did. After this, I am mapping over the integer array, right? I'm mapping over the character and array I. What is this saying? Okay, my I is moving in this part, right? So please map ARR at I, right? You can see I'm having it inside the bracket of answer array, right? So it is written as answer at ARR I, right? Is equal to s dot character at I, right? This is the line. You can see it's inside the brackets, right? Now this value will be found out by the compiler, telling us, okay, so which location in the answer do I need to put the value? Okay, so for what is the ARR at I value now? You can see it's going from 0 to n, so I can say it's 4 now, right? ARR gave me the value 4, so it became 4. Now, at answer's 4th location, right, or the index 4, I need to put what is at the character standing at the ith location, the S. So what is that character? It's C. So C gets inserted in this position, right? This is basically happened. Okay. Yeah. So again, I am like using the loop again. I must increment my I. This time, what will the ARR I give me? ARR at I will give me 5, right? Now, what is the character at that index? It's 0. Where do I need to map it? In the 5th location of the answer that I'm creating. So it basically 0, right? Got it? So this is how, continuing the same process, I can say is 6. This time, again, I increments. This is giving me 6. Now the character that I'm working upon is D. So D gets pushed to 6, right? Again, increment of I, right? So this time it is giving me 7 and the character is E, right? So basically E comes here. Now, let's do it once more, right? Let's complete the dry run. Again, now I got a 0 value, right? You can see it's currently standing at 0. The character that I'm working upon is L. So please put the character L at 0, right? Similarly, move. Now this is 2 and this is E. Okay, so this E goes to 2, is here. After this, again, an increment, right? I, 1. Again, still it is E. So this one, this new E goes to 1th location and T basically goes to the 3rd location, right? So now the character is T. Now, you can see I have an array of characters, right? I have an array of characters. I created the answer, but now I need to convert it back to the string. So whenever we are like creating a string, we use this, right? When let's say we create a string, it's a string answer, or let's call it str, right? The general variable that we use for string is str, is equals to new, right? It's somewhat a similar declaration to what we do when we are declaring an integer array. So you can see after new, we write the data type, right, in which we need to create it. Now, as a constructor to this, we pass the initial array that we created, answer, right? So what this will be doing is it will have an internal function written which takes the character array and makes a string out of it. Now the new function is used, new attribute or the keyword is used when we are like declaring something or we are like creating a new variable. So this is like storing the new string into answer, right? But you guys are asking, sir, what are you doing in this? See, rather than storing the string in str, what my code did is I directly printed the string that was returned to me, right? I basically skipped this step and like compiled them in a single, right? As system.out.print, I simply wrote create a new string, right, of answer and pass it to the system.out. Now system.out will print it, right? So it is basically satisfying my need to print out answer rather than like creating a line more of code and like storing this value, right? If I was to write this line also, I can basically skip it and now I can simply write, okay, so please print str, right? Because str is holding the value that was created to above, right? That is lead code. Got it? Any doubts now in this code or the approach what we did? Any doubts now? Anybody? Yeah, Kunal, you were saying?
इसमें सर आपने जो 4 int I equal to 0 है ना सर, उसमें सर ये कैर आंसर के,
अच्छा ये, हाँ,
तो इसमें सर I तो 0 है ना, आपने C से कैसे स्टार्ट किया?
C से कैसे स्टार्ट?
h डॉट कैर में C कैसे पहला आया?
ओके, देखो S पे भी काम हो रहा है और ARR पे भी काम हो रहा है. हमारे को कोड में क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है कि we basically need to map the current characters that are standing at ith location to the new location that is specified by the array. So you can see that there is one common parameter in both the mapping and the character that they are both standing at the common index, right? हमें नए लोकेशन array में दिए हुए हैं, हमारे पास जो string में characters हैं वो already हैं, right? The mapping of character to the new location is done on the basis of index, right? So it is already given to us. So what I did is I basically iterated over the new indexes and strings together and the string together, right? I basically figured out ki, okay, at fourth location, which character needs to be sent. So I know ki if index I is at 0, I can get the location, the new location from array 0, and I can get the character that is to be placed at that location from s.0, s0, right? So that's why I got a C initially. So you can see ki I basically iterated from the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the given string. But as per the given data, the mapping of these characters is already done in the array with their indexing, right? So it is also at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's why I'm basically able to use this relation. The character I can get from s
So
dot character at.
So इसमें answer array I है वो index number है.
Answer array I. Yes, see, I basically figured out कि अच्छा new location क्या है, right? आप देख रहे हो इसके अंदर nested kind of situation. So whenever like in maths also, if we have brackets around something, that initial internal part is executed first, right? What if we enter the answer I? Ishar, can you just unmute yourself and let me know what do you mean by we enter the array answer I? Dekho, what I was saying, see, first the array I will get resolved, right? The alternate manner of writing this would be I can have an int, right? I can name this variable a new location, right? Let's keep it new loc. I can get the new location from ARR at I. Agreed? कि नई लोकेशन क्या है जिस पे मेरे को कैरेक्टर देना. So I can say कि it will be giving me 4, right? Now what I can do is कि okay, for answer at index new location, right? Please put whatever is the character that is in S string at index I. So right, so these two lines can also be written in this single one. Okay, it's basically same thing. Whatever we write inside the brackets gets resolved first, right? The value that I get from ARR at I will be passed as a value or a fixed value to the answer, right? Pointing to the location. So answer at location, I can say 3, will get the character that is standing at ith locations. For 7, I believe we were working on 7. So what was the character at 7th location? It was T. So this answer character array will receive the character T, right? This is what this line means. So this line and these two lines are basically same. Got it? Yeah, Ishwar, can you just let me know what you said in the chat? Please unmute yourself.
Sir, I say in the above program what happens instead of removing array of I, put I.
Sorry, can you just repeat? I'm not able to get what you are saying. There is also a buzzing noise from your end.
Sir, I am audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, in your program, answer array I is equal to s dot char I. In this, we put instead of array of I, we put I. What happens?
Okay, see, if we put I, what does that mean? Ki, okay, see, what does that means? Ki you are like now you're working on the index directly, right? You are not following the program description, like the question description. Question description basically tells you to shuffle the string. Shuffling needs to be done on the basis of the new location that is provided to you. If you are like want to shuffle, you need to first extract out the new location. But if you like replace this ARR at I with just I, right? Let's do this. If ARR at I will be replaced just by I, what will happen is okay, indexing you can see will be moving from 0 to n, right? Also, character at I 0 to I. So what will happen is the characters won't get shuffled, right? So answer at 0 will get the character at 0. So it will be C, O, D, E, L, E, E, T. It will just stay the same. Okay. So we are not actually doing the shuffling if we are like directly working on it, right? First, we need to extract out the new location in which we want to put that character at. Okay.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So ARRI is an index location and character I is a character present in the ith location. Yes. ARRI is the index location. That is the new location where the character should be. Okay. So I hope everyone is we are also use value of function also. Yes, you can use value of function, right? You can use value of function. It's see, coding can be done in several ways, right? So it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay. Basically the concept stays same, writing
So-
just
So we can't print directly answer.
you can print character by character, you can print character by character, right? That's okay, right? It's just how I like see, some things are like different in writing code with every individual, right? Every individual writes code in its own manner, right? So I'm not saying ki your way is wrong or my way is wrong. Both ways are correct. It's just happens to be there are several methods by which we can solve it, right? So it's up to you, whichever you choose, right? Both are valid. I'm not saying anything wrong with it. Okay. All right. So let's move to the next problem, right? Any doubts anybody if has, we can still have like 2 minutes on it, or we can move to the next. Anyone? Jerry, is there anything you want to say?
No, sir. It's clear.
All right, so let's move to the next problem. Okay, so the next problem that we need to do is p-ties, right? Oh, so let's have a look at the problem description. So there are, I guess, Adrian, Bruno, and Goran want to join a bird lover club. However, they did not know that all applicants must pass an entrance exam. The exam consists of n questions, each with 3 possible answers A, B, C. Unfortunately, they couldn't tell a bird from a whale, so they are trying to guess the correct answer. Each of 3 boys have a theory. Okay, what will work? Adran claims, okay, there is a combination. Okay, so A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. It's a repeating string, right? A, B, C, B, B, A, B, C. Okay. C, C, A, A, B, B, etc. So all three of them have a repeating string, right? Now write a program that, given the correct answer to the exam, determines who of the 3 was right, whose sequence contains the most correct answers. Okay, right. So we need to take inputs as contains an integer n, the number of questions in the exam. Okay, the second line contains a string n abc, string of n letters. Okay, the correct answer to the exam question. Okay, output of the first line, output m, the largest number of correct answers one of the 3 boys get. After that, output the names of boys in alphabetical order whose sequence result is in m correct. Okay. So we have 3 candidates that are appearing for the exam, right? So each of them have a specific key, like they are assuming it's basically required to pass the exam, right? So we can see they are like a repetition of a set string, right? So for Adrian, it's ABC, 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 and ABC, right? Is there anyone who tried this problem and came up with any solutions? Please let me know which approach did you follow, right? Please write it in the chat. Okay. Okay. So for the rest of you, let's have a look. First, we need to take the integer n, right? That is the input. So scanner sc is equals to new. Cool. Now we are done with creation of scanner. Let's take the input n is equals to sc dot next. Right. After this, we need a string input. Let's call it s. Right. That is sc. Right. So we are done with taking the inputs. Right. Now we need to set some default values. Right. We need to set some default values. What are those default values? We need a string state. We need a string for like 3 of them. So let's create 3 strings. String. Let's call it a. Right. Let's call it a. String a is equals to a b c. Right. We just need this part, right? The repeated part. So string b a b c string g is equals to cc a, right? So now we need to figure out which of them got the maximum matches, right? So we also need an individual answer for all of them, right? So let's create the int, right? So count a initially 0, int count b is equals to 0, int count g is 0, right? So I have these 3 variables, right? Now I need to figure out, okay, so how many of them are matching, right? So how can I do this? I can have a for loop in which I will be going over each character in the string input that is the correct answer key, right? And I will be matching it with these characters, right? I will be matching it with these characters. Is it a correct answer? I will be incrementing the count. So let's first figure out it for the array, right? Int I is equals to 0, I is less than n, I plus plus, right? Now there is a one cool thing you can see. I am writing if s dot character at I, it's a function, character at I is equal to, right, a dot character at I modulo a dot ngpx, right? Now if that is the case, please increment count a. Okay, now how many of you guys are able to figure out what this line means, right? Is there anyone who's having doubts in this modulus operator? How is it helping me to basically recreate the repeated string? Anyone able to figure out? N by 3, sure. Okay, see, a by 3, a modulo 3. See, what is this modulus function doing? See, whenever we write a modulus function, the modulus function limits the values in the modulus range. So let's say I'm doing a modulus 5. So the maximum value of anything that I can get from this modulus operation will stay in 0 to 4, right? It will stay from 0 to 4. We will be having a look at it in the code notepad if you guys are right. Now, by this, I can tell, okay, so a dot character at this I modulo length will like limit my I, right, to the values from 0 to the whatever the size is, right, -1. So 0 say n minus 1 will limit it. Then if it is a match, I can increment the count, right? I need to do this same operation for these 3 guys as well, right? So rather than doing A, I just need to do B, right? I just need to do B and count B, right? I just need to do G count G. Now, this will help me to figure out, okay, so which one is the maximum among these three, right? So repeat line number 19. Okay, so line number 19 is a mathematical line that I'm writing, right? So in this problem, you can see it's an infinite repetition, right? We don't know how many times the repetition might take, right? The repetition depends upon the length of the correct answer key that is given to us, right? Also, each of them have a different keys that they are willing to apply to basically pass the exam, right? You can see first string A, that is Adrian's. There are only 3 characters that he is repeating: ABC, ABC, right? Similarly, for Bruno, there are 4, and for Grian, it's 6. So they are of different lengths, right? Okay. Along with this, we actually just know the length of the correct answer key, right? It might be of single character, it might be of 100 characters, right? So we don't know exactly how many times these strings need to repeat. Whenever we have some sort of a repetition question, we tend to use a modulus operation, right? How this modulus is helping, I will be needing a pen and paper to basically tell you guys. So let's just finish this code and we will be walking it out on the notepad once. Okay, just for now, please assume that this is helping me keep the values of I intact in the range of 0 say n-1 for the set keys. Okay, now same operation I am doing on these 3 candidates, right? I guess so far the only doubts that you guys will be having is in this line, right? The models. Apart from that, it's just a simple coding that I created a variable to store the matches for each one of them, A, B, G. I'm like figuring out how many matches that I'm getting. And now the next part tells me I need to print the largest amongst them. So I need to find the maxi, right? I need to find the maxi. What is the minimum value of maximum that I can, maxi that I should start with, right? I have taught you guys that whenever we need to find the maximum amongst anything, we start from the minimum value possible. So what can be the minimum value possible? 0. There can't be any match, right? I guess all of them failed. So it's 0, right? Any value below 0 is a valid starting point. Now we need to figure out if A is greater than, right? A is greater than or equal to B and A is greater than equal to G, or the count. Count A is greater than count B and AI. Right. So count A is greater than count G. Please make the maxi. Please make the maxi as count A. All right. Similarly, if other 3 cases are true, right, we need to figure out which one is the maximum. So let's say rather than A, we are checking for a B, right? It's greater than A and B is greater than G. So please make the count as B. Right, now we are checking for G. If G is greater than A, please make the count as G. Okay, so you can see I'm writing count A, where count A? Is it? Okay, so you can see there are several ways of finding the maximum, right? But these 3 can also be written using the math.max function with just 2 lines. Right? You can figure out the maximum among 2 and then the maximum among the answer of above 2 and the third one, right? So there can be several ways to do this, right? One way is this. Now the next way we can do is E maxi is equals to math, right? Math dot maximum of count A comma count B, right? So this will be giving me the maximum among the count A and count B. I can now do this. Maxi is equals to maximum, right? Maximum, that is math dot maximum of maxi. Why maxi? Because the first maximum is giving me the maximum amongst count A and count B. Now I can use that answer as a variable and compare it with the count G. Right? If G is greater than the rest, I will be getting a maximum. Right? So these three statements can be like simplified to just 2 lines. Right? So let's just comment. Okay. Now, after finding maximum, we need to do a print out, right? System dot out dot print ln, right? Maxi, right? The output requires us to, on the first line, output m, right? The largest number of correct answers one of the 3 boys gets. Okay. After that, output the name of the boys in alphabetical order whose sequence results in m correct answers. Now, after this, we need to do a if check. If count A is equals to maxi, right? If A was the maximum that we got, right? If the count A was the maximum we got, we need to do a system dot out dot print ln, right? We need to print ordinal, right? Let's just copy this. Yes, it. Now, do we need to use an if else or else? Do we need an if statement or else if or else after this to basically check for the remaining 2 values? Else if. Okay. Also, I would like to answer Ishar. Yes, your statement is also correct, right? It's basically like replacing this part with the above statement. Yeah, you are correct. See, one guy with NK name, right? You are wrong. See, we need to individually check for each candidate whether they are having maximum or not. Let's say 2 of the candidates got the same number of matches, right? So in that case, as I said, else if is like exclusive, right? Either of them will be executed. So, but in this case, we need to specifically check for each one of them, right? So let's simply just copy this and Control V and Control V. The only changes we need to do is Control V, count V, count G, right? If this is the case, let's copy this, right? Control C, Control V, right? So we are done with the finding out of the maximum. We printed it. Now we find out, okay, so who is the which candidate is getting the maximum values. We checked them and we did the printing. Is there anything else left? Let's check it out. Okay, m correct answers who see. So let's just quickly give it a run, right? Let's quickly give it a run. Okay, sample input, Control C. Let's run the code. We got a 3 and a blue. Right, let's check the sample input too. More Adrian Bruno. We got the same correct answers. Right, let's try and submit it. Okay, see all the test cases passed. Now let's quickly jump to the notepad and figure out what is this line helping me do and how it is. Let me just remove this part. Right. Apart from them, apart from that line, is there any other doubt that you guys are having? Please let me.
So in second sample input, this means that all are the largest number.
Sorry. Can you just repeat?
In the second
Yes.
sample input.
Uh-huh.
It means all are the largest number. That will print
Yes.
at 3 of them.
It doesn't mean that all of them are the largest. It means that all of them got the exact same number of outputs, right? Or the matches that were required, or not required. The matches of each individual were same. So all of them were the highest scorer, right? So that's why we need to print all of them individually. Okay. Okay, let's quickly take this case only, right? Okay, is the notepad visible, guys? Is the notepad visible? All right, good. See, guys, we are given these three combinations, right? We are given these three combinations. Let's try to understand one of them, right? Let's say ki A, that is string A is A, B, and C. Now, apart from this, let's also have this, right? The correct string. Let's call it the answer, or let's call it key, right? The actual key, right? Key is something A, this 4 A, B, 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 and B. Now, why we are using the modulus is just because of this simple reason. If I talk about the size of this, it's of size 3 and the answer key is of size 9. So the indexes that I will be having 0, 1, and 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you can see there is a size gap in between. Now this is when I'm talking about one set pattern key, right? The key is at current 9. It can be of any value from 0 to, let's say, n, right? N being a very large number. So actually we don't know how many times I need to do this A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, right? If it was 9, if it is 9, I need to do it 3 times, right? Let's say n is 100. How many times do I need to do then, right? I don't know. If I tend to create this string infinitely as it is given in the problem description, I don't know how many times I need to repeat it. So the simple fix that we have is the use of modulus operator. So let's quickly have a look at the modulus operator. Okay, I'm writing some values in on the screen. Please help me find the modulus operation done on them, the values that I get. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Right. So let's say the number is 3, right? Okay. So the number with which I'm doing the modulus is 3. Okay. So let's call this ARR, right? And I will be using an index I to iterate over it, and I will be requiring your help, right? Please tell me what is the modulo operation, that is ARR at I modulo 3, right? What will I get when I modulo 0 by 3? What will I get? What is 0 modulo 3? What is 0 modulo 3? Yes, you guys are correct. 0 modulo 3 is 0. Now let's move to the next value. What I get now? 1 modulo 3. 1. Yes, I will be getting a 1. Let's move further. What will I get now? I can say 2, right? Because 2 modulo 3 is 2. Now, again, let's do this. What do I get now? After 2, I'm standing at 3. What do I get now? 3 modulo 3 is 0 again, right? It is a 0 again. Let's continue the pattern. It will be 1. 5, it will be 2. 6, again a 0, right? 7, I can say 1. 8, I can say 2. And 9, right? 9, I can say 0. Now, let's convert it in the terms of the code that we were working upon. Let's say the string was ABC, right? And 0, 1, 2 is nothing but the index of that string, right? So 0, 1, 2 is nothing but the index of that string, right? So let's do this. For 0, I will be writing A, 1, B, C for 2, right? So A, B, C, and A, right? Now, the array had values from 0 to 9. Let's map them in the terms of the actual character indexes of the key. So A, right? B, and B. So I guess 9 is an extra part, right? So you can see a somewhat of a similarity between the modulus operator that is helping us achieve. You can see I'm working on the indexes of the key itself, right? This part, right? I'm like working on the length of the key. But with the help of modulus operator, I'm like able to limit the conversion of I to the key value, the current key that I'm like checking the validity with, right? Or the current pattern that I'm checking the validity with. So the pattern had 3 variables. That's why we have written key length, right? The length, whatever is the modulus done, it basically, right? So let's say ki I do a x modulo n. So the answer or the range of the answers that I can get is this 0, say n minus 1, both included, right? Both included, right? So this is the general formula that is helping me achieve this thing, right? It's not a formula, it's just a observation. When you do a programming a lot, you are like able to figure out. So this is the general trend that I can use, right? So a modulus operator is helping me repeat the string infinite, right? I can break the string, right? You can see every orange line is separating the string, the current pattern that I'm working on in individual bits. So for 9 characters of the actual string, I'm using the pattern thrice, right? So if you are able to guess it now, similarly, if the pattern changes, right? Let's say what was the B pattern? I say B, A, and BC, some sort of such a pattern, right? Again, if I talk about the N, what is the N in this case? I can say N is 4, right? The size is 4. So let's also map the indexes 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index. If I do an index of I modulo 4, what is the possible range that I can get the answer in? I can get the range of answer in 0 to 3, right? So you can see the indexes of the outputs that I can get is exactly in the range of 0 to 3, right? Now it doesn't matter how long is my actual key is. So if I have a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, basically 8, right? 9 characters. So A, B, B, and B, right? I can still match it using the modulus operator with the B, A, B, C, B, A, B, C, B, right? Got it? Anybody who has a doubt now, please let me know. If anybody has a doubt now, why this modulus operator was used and how it helps us to infinitely like carry on the operation. Any doubts now? Anyone? Right. Apart from this, the second part of this problem was first finding out the number of matches and then finding out the which one is the maximum. So we figured out using this also. Yes, this is clear now. And then simple printing as per the requirement of the problem. Okay, 3 steps: inputs, computation, and outputs, right? So yeah, I guess it's almost 11. So let's just wrap it up. Okay. Any doubts in the problems that we discussed today, please let me know, right? Or the class is done by my side. You guys are free to leave, right? We will be having the next class on Monday, right? Weekends, Saturday, Sunday will be off. Okay, so if this is the case where Adrian's score is 3, Bruno is 3, and Goran is 2, see, we will be getting the counts, individual counts as 3, 3, and 2, right? Which one is the what is the maximum among these values, right? We need to find the maximum. So I can see the maximum score that I will be getting at the maxi is 3, right? After this, I figured out, okay, so 3 is the maximum score that was achieved among these 3 candidates, right? And then I'm basically checking, okay, so is the count of A, right, the score of A candidate, Adrian, was it the maximum score or is it equal to the maximum that we are currently working upon, right? Yes. In this case, yes. So the Adrian will be printed out. Similarly, it will again check, was B also having the same score as of maximum? If that is so, please print out Bruno again. Similarly for C, or sorry, G, right? But G is 2, so G is not exactly the maximum, right? It's a smaller value, so the Joran will not be printed. So the final output we will be getting is 3, right? Generally, it can take, I guess, 2 parameters, right? I haven't used more than that. Like you can use the Google to basically find out how can it work, right? I basically tend to keep it simpler with 2 elements, right? All right, so yeah, cool. I guess that's pretty much it for today's class. We'll see you guys on Monday. Right, have a good weekend. All right, guys.
Sir.